Hello again, and today we are going to be delving into the big failure that has befallen the Star Wars franchise, and that is the merchandise doesn't sell like it used to. Now, there are many videos, many videos on the failure of Star Wars merchandise. A lot of them, and the best ones, are done by Jeff Hicks at World Class Bullshitters. I gotta thank him before I continue into this content deluge month, because without Jeff, I felt super alone in hating The Force Awakens. And there was a guy who was willing to say it and tell it like it is. And so I thank you, Jeff. And I thank all the members of the Fandom Menace who have come after him since then. And the people that came before him, like Internet Hero, Pawn Story Games, and quote-unquote Yahtzee with an N, E:R, who call that movie for what it truly is, and then it's fucking garbage. But we're here to talk about the merchandise right now, and so Jeff made this one video. I believe it's called Star Wars is Dead, the merchandise rots on shelves. He goes into all of his local Walmarts, Targets, Toys R Us's at the time, and his local bargain outlets like Ollie's, and I think he doesn't have Five Belows. But what I am going to be doing with today's video is showing things from my region, the northeast of the country, to show that even in, populations that are highly dense with geeks, that Star Wars does not sell. And it's really obvious, and it's transparent, and I've seen this year after year after year. There was a point when my local Toys R Us closed, the third most local, and the only thing it still had on shelves for Star Wars Black Series was a fuck ton of Constable Zuvio figures that were barely even marked down from the closing sale price. And that is because they sold all the other kinds of figures that they had just boatloads of. They sold out of the Jyn Ersos finally. They got rid of the Cassian Andors that were clogging the shelves. They got rid of the Admiral Akbar and First Order Commander 2-packs. Yet that Zuvio lingered. And this is a result of the failure of The Force Awakens to gauge lots of product to be moved off the shelves. Before I continue, though, with my argument, there is a documentary series on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us. And all of the episodes of all the the brands that you grew up with are great, except for the Star Wars one, which goes on to make this long-winded argument about how the Phantom Menace toys went right to the clearance section after the third week of them being on store shelves, except the Force Awakens merchandise can still be found in some bargain outlet stores today. And because they wanted to get the Hasbro people on board with the documentary, I assume they left this shit out, or they just didn't think of it because they're not savvy, creatives. They're not looking at what people are talking about right now. And, right now you can still buy tickets for the Rise of Skywalker on opening day, not just weekend. You can find every figure but the Mandalorian, going to show how good the show's doing right now, of the Triple Force Friday Black Series wave that was released. And you can find old Star Wars shit in every bargain outlet that you can possibly run across. Your Burlingtons, TJ Maxx, fucking Marshalls, Five Below, Ollie's, all this shit you can find bargain Star Wars merchandise. And this never was the case when I was a kid, especially growing up in the Northeast like I did. We had a lot of Star Wars fans per capita, so to find Star Wars stuff was kind of hard sometimes to come across. And now it's so easy. Like, you find gluts of the shit, and it's all the overproduced figures like the Jyn Erso, the Cassian Andor, the Director Krennic, the what's the more recent ones from Last Jedi? The DJ from Canto Bight, the Finn disguised as a First Order officer, and a couple others here and there. Sometimes I still see shit in Walgreens, and that freaks me out. Like, I've seen way too many of those Rey and BB-8 figures from The Force Awakens in the Black Series wave that do not have the Luke Skywalker, Anakin lightsaber that she gets in that fucking movie. And back when the Kmart still had them, they had some of these figures from The Force Awakens for like 3 years at the time. Now they don't, because the final Kmart that I live nearby is going under. And again, I don't want to blame, like Toys R Us's failure on the Star Wars buy-in, but Hasbro has definitely learned their lesson as far as the Disney characters. So far, there have been 0 announcements for sequel trilogy shit going into next year. And I think it's because, like they said, there's a lot of spoiler stuff that if they were to release immediately would ruin the movie. But I think even then, there will only be a handful of things picked here and there for the Black Series. And instead, we're getting a whole bunch of prequels shit next year. We're getting a Legends redo of Light Side Darth Revan. We are getting, as far as the cool shit, the Heavy Arms Mandalorian that made his debut in the most recent episode of The Mandalorian. So that will be cool. And again, we are not seeing as much in the Rise of Skywalker Disney sequel trilogy department. And it's because the brand has failed to deliver. And it's because they cater to the very audiences that were never Star Wars fans and are only now claiming to be so for a little bit of street cred, for a little bit of, influencer hustle, or for the same purpose of the politics of these filmmakers are aligning with mine. So I gravitate towards this, this brand more as a result. And again, like I said months ago, the Twitter audience is a myth that it can create money and, blow up your revenue and spike those numbers up to, Herculean heights. Because those people don't buy merchandise. And it's super obvious. And the people that do, you are fundamentally ostracizing. And Hasbro knows this. And that's why Hasbro is course corrected. But I will bet you if the social justice warrior types on Twitter.com take wind of this and realize there's not many female figures getting released next year in the Star Wars line, there will be a stink made about it. And it will be really funny. And I mean, personally, I would laugh. But I know there would be, bad ramifications because apparently it is the nature of the American corporation to cuck to these people. And it's disgusting. It's gross. And I don't want to say anything further than that. And again, this is the large failure of the Star Wars franchise. That we do not have, good products coming forward for all of us collectors out there. And as a result, we gotta either live with it or just walk away from the brand entirely. And I'm pretty much about to. It would take a miraculous, it would take the second coming of Christ levels of miracles for me to turn around on Star Wars at this point. And so we're going to transition into the footage that I acquired during Triple Force Friday. I was kind of in between a job at the time and had the ability to go out early in the morning and go record all this footage. And so I did, just for posterity's sake, so that people would know that it's super fucking grim to be a Star Wars collector right now, and it is because of the failures of the brand on the whole, and that this is something that you cannot contain. So we're going to cut into all of the footage, and then once I am done going through the stores, you're going to hear from my friend JB, the collector I talked about in the last video, who is a Star Wars apologist, who even he has some doubts on the future of the franchise. So take it away.
Okay, so I'm at my local Walmart. I have a big job ahead of me today, but for right now, I am just documenting Triple Force Friday here at the Walmart closest to where I live. So as you can see down there ahead, there's my friend JB. He's got the one lone Star Wars collector look because he's the one lone Star Wars collector right now. Okay, so I'm about to stop filming because I gotta go to my job for the day, but I decided to stop off at this Target and we're gonna take a look. This neighborhood I don't believe has a lot of Star Wars fans, but the county overall, someone might have come in and taken everything, but we'll see. Okay, we're approaching the toys and games section. I'm gonna turn right in when we're there. I see an employee nearby. I think she's putting shit out. Okay, so the store is not totally set up. However, if you come here, we're at the Last Jedi booth thingy in the Star Wars section. Galaxy of Adventures. Wow. Ray, Jin, Ray. Sorry, guys. Ray, Jin, Ray. 2 Rays. 2 Vaders at least. 1 Chewie, 1 Jet Troop, 2 Jet Troopers. Oh no, 2 Chewies. Someone bought some Kylo Rens. It's kind of funny. Bunch of Molochs, all on sale. Vandor playsets, all on sale. Estate from Death Star game, all on sale. And they're just putting shit out now. There is no Force Friday this year. They lied to you. So I just walked up to the Lego aisle. Couple things. Millennium Falcon, speeder thing, Y-Wing, A-Wing, Ben Kenobi on the Death Star. The Mandalorian one, which actually looks pretty cool. But yeah, a store completely caught off guard. I'm gonna check in with my friend who's doing this full time, JB, and we're gonna compare notes by the day's end. Okay, so I went to one last Target before I have to go to my job today. Let's check it out. So we got big banner. We got Admiral Holdo front and center. Molochs, DJs, Resistance figures. It seems like they're not too happy with Star Wars on the whole. Alright, let's look at a new product. We got the tread speeder that they're putting out that last Target. We got the 3-pack of Galaxy of Adventures. We got the Cheapoids, Luke's better than Cheapoids. Jyn Erso's Poe Dameron, Luke Skywalker, so just one Poe Dameron. We're gonna come around here. We got that droid thing, lightsabers in a barrel, Star Wars stuff, and oh look, they're unpacking what was probably here before, which is Toy Story, something that was kind of better, or not as tarnished. That's new. I haven't seen that glow strike. I might get that on clearance because I love having blasters. I had a lot of lightsabers as a kid, and now I need some blasters. But we'll see what happens with this merchandise. This is maybe cool, but again, they make lightsabers for only little people now. You have to go to the fucking Disney store to get a lightsaber adult size. Oh, okay. So we have collection box. Apparently there's something cool in here. But so far this is the best looking Star Wars store. There's Target or Force Friday that I've seen so far. I probably need to pick that up at some point. Milwauk's Resistance Legos. Basically crap. Bed stuff. Okay, we're arriving.
That's in stationary, so you're gonna go all the way straight down and make a left all the way down.
So yeah, toys and games. Okay. So here, it's just, getting rid of the Star Wars stuff. And as I can see, if I turn this way, all the Star Wars stuff, all at one time. More Snokes. Haven't seen Snoke in a while. Power Rangers apparently doing pretty well. There's none of the adult crap. Two. Everything else for kids. So adults are really liking this Power Rangers Hasbro thing. But I don't think the kids are into it. Yeah, this is just other lines by comparison. You got your Transformers. Kind of cool. You got your Avengers for kids. You got your Marvel Legends. Only really peg warmers at this point. And this is the state of Star Wars. Right here. Right here. And one more thing before I go. This is on the gamer side. Not, over here. So that just goes to show you that most of these stores either were not told to get ready or just didn't care. And that's okay. So I'm here at Best Buy. One last trip, one last ride. We're gonna take a look. Okay, so we're inside. That's new. We just saw that at the Target. We've seen this all day. No luck there. And no luck here, just a Knight of Ren. That's the only thing. And this is how outdated Best Buy is. So yeah. We're gonna... Man, nothing guys, right? I mean, it's not like you're on the call. So I went to one last Walmart before I went home from the work day. And they have this for Frozen 2 and no Star Wars. I want to show you, but it's like the coach in Letterkenny, Ontario says, it's fucking embarrassing. So you get to look at Frozen's mega palette when there's no Star Wars any palette. Okay, so I'm here with my friend JB, who's a lifelong diehard Star Wars fan who's shown up to all of the Force Fridays of this decade, right?
Yeah, since 2016.
Any of the ones in the previous decade?
No, I was too young.
Okay.
Wasn't allowed to.
So this is your Force Friday experience. This is Triple Force Friday, the last one, which will be for the foreseeable future, unless the TV show pops up with some more crap. What's your overall opinion of this year's Force Friday?
Well, it's changed a little bit since last time because the last Force Friday I wasn't really into the Black Series. I finally just got into that within the last year or so. So I wound up spending twice as much as I usually do. Usually I just go for the 3 3/4 inch. And that was really the one thing I was bummed about, is there was no basic 3 3/4 inch line. It was all just the vintage collection, which is awesome stuff, but kind of limits the amount of characters you're going to get. So, I mean, it was good and it was bad. I got some cool stuff, so I'm happy.
What's your overall opinion on Disney Star Wars in general?
So, I like the Disney Star Wars stuff overall. I can totally understand why people don't like it. I see both sides of it, but for me, it's always kind of been entertaining, especially The Force Awakens. The build up to that made me feel like a 1999 all over again, which was awesome. Like, I was looking forward to The Phantom Menace, so that's cool.
Cool. And are you excited for any upcoming Star Wars titles, either with a release date or still in pre-production?
Obi-Wan probably more than anything, because it's something that we've wanted for a long time and they're finally doing it. But I am kind of excited for Rise of Skywalker, but by comparison, I'm way more excited for Fallen Order and The Mandalorian. So I think those are going to be a lot, especially The Mandalorian. Just looks like it's going to be insane.
Since you didn't mention it, are you excited for Rian Johnson project, Kevin Feige project, or the Benioff and Weiss project?
Feige, yes. The others, we'll see. Not right now. If I see more, maybe I'll be more interested as it gets closer. But for right now, especially the Benioff, and I don't care about that. And Johnson could go either way. So, I don't know. We'll see. I didn't dislike The Last Jedi as much as everybody else did, although it certainly wasn't my favorite Star Wars movie.
Okay, final question. Do you think Disney Star Wars needs to improve?
I would say that's kind of subjective, because for me, I'm okay with it, but there are certain things that I get why people are upset about, and those are things that Disney should probably address. For instance, how they handle people on social media, and listen to the fans a little bit more. They've been fans this long for a reason. They know what they like, and you should probably listen to that a little bit more. And I think they're starting to. I think that Fallen Order, The Mandalorian, and the Obi-Wan show are all really big steps in the right direction, but I think they've got a little more to work with. So, we'll see.
All right, and we're back. And hopefully this has been a bit of an eye-opening experience for you guys, that you get to see this kind of crazy, just world upside down flipping of one of the greatest brands in franchise history to now being relegated to, some of the most unpopular dregs of entertainment history. And it's sad, okay? It's a sad thing, the more politically minded people that watch my channel might like to make fun of all the content I do this month and maybe even walk away from my channel. But I really got to put the lid on the Star Wars shit, because for years now, it's been kind of the saddest thing for me to watch is, this beloved childhood brand diminish before my eyes. And maybe this is just the nature of time, but it's just kind of hard to let go. And so, to the toy companies, to the merchandising companies, I hope you've learned your lesson when it comes to dealing with these people. I hope you make enough of a stink at your stockholders meetings to bring awareness to Lucasfilm, to Disney, that your shit isn't working and it's not helping us move product at the end of the day. And to those people at Lucasfilm who have, again, ruined this brand, you're going to hear it from me all this month. So enjoy it, because you people better tread lightly in the next decade, because this franchise has gone to shit.